Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News on September 10th, standing in front of the Surrey Provincial Courthouse, where I was just about to wrap up what took place inside today in a hearing regarding the infamous Jessica Serenity Simpson, who's trying to have his current probation conditions lifted. That's right, Jessica Simpson is the same violent trans activist and repeat offender formerly known as Jonathan Yaniv, who's targeted, assaulted, and threatened our journalists.
My iPad. What are you? Huh?
Will you be pleading guilty? What?
Go.
No,
Go.
don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Hey! Stop! Go away from me.
Rebel Media. Rebel Media.
Hey!
Can't keep your hands off me.
Including myself and my family, due to our recent win in Supreme Court, where we successfully hired lawyers who took down publication bans Simpson was hiding behind, using the excuse of being a victim of transphobia to target this intellectually disabled man named Donald Smith. All of that is on our special website called protectdrea.com that allows the two bodyguards by my side to be here today. But just as I was about to begin wrapping up what happened, this took place.
Nigger, fuck you. I have the picture of your kid on here, by the way. You want to see? You like that? You like that, Drea? Fucking little bitch. Look at all your little Hindu security over there around you. I feel scared. Yeah. Get her back away, Drea. Get her back off. Do you know your friend's going to jail, Terry?
Again, thank you to all who are going to protectdrea.com. That is just one of the series of attacks against my family that I haven't even been able to report on, which includes threatening me with his dog in front of the courthouse.
Go away.
Go
Go.
away from me.
Go.
Back
go,
off.
Go.
Do you have anything to say to Mr. Funk's family?
Why are you
Back
protecting this
Go.
reporter?
Back off.
Do you know what fuck off means? I'll give him the
Control
bike
your
you.
dog.
I'll give him the
Don't
bike you.
threaten me. And more recently, trying to stop my reporting by taunting my family, by posting online photos of my children and even our residents. Which is why right now, as I'm filming this, our rebel commander, Ezra Levant, is hopping on a plane to meet me in Vancouver today to discuss a safety plan that we will be implementing to keep my family safe.
I saw Jonathan Yaniv, aka Jessica Simpson, the transgender extremist, threaten Drea today. I immediately got on a plane to come out here to let her know we will protect her. Help me out by going to protectdrea.com.
You can see that in a separate report and help us cover the cost to do that at protectdrea.com. Hopefully, we are getting close to him not getting away with it in our judicial system that's so lenient to people claiming to be victims of transphobia. Let's get to the point of why I'm here today. Jessica Serenity Simpson wanted his bail conditions to be varied. I should say not bail, because they never sent him in jail. Of course they haven't. Despite being guilty of 4 criminal offenses, he's never been convicted to go behind bars. So I think the correct term is just his conditions, one of which is to keep the peace, which clearly he isn't doing. Simpson's convictions actually include assaulting my former colleague, Kian Bexty, at this courthouse while he was covering Simpson's hearing for brandishing an illegal weapon for Rebel News.
Will you be pleading guilty? What?
Go.
No,
Go.
don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Hey! Stop! Go away from me.
As Kian was reporting for us at Rebel News, Simpson's also assaulted my other colleague, David Menzies, here because he dared to ask Simpson about sexually explicit messages he had sent to minors.
Jonathan, why do you send sexually explicit messages to young girls?
Go away.
Huh?
Go away.
Huh?
My iPad.
What are you?
Now.
Huh?
Go away. Are you
away.
But that's not the second offense. That's just one that he's gotten away with so far. But another offense is brandishing an illegal weapon in front of millions on the popular trans conservative commentator's YouTube channel, Blair White.
An attack, which is illegal in Canada, just saying. But
Do you think that was like cute?
As well as uttering threats to harm child protection activist Billboard Chris.
Kill you. You're gonna send another bomb threat to my phone? I'm watching you.
And connected to the matter that brought me here today is pulling a fire alarm falsely. Find our initial report about that incident. It took place in February of 2022. You can see here with a warrant on screen that the RCMP recommended 3 different charges regarding the incident. The first was assault charge for allegedly assaulting a 70-year-old man named Mr. Funk, who resides in the same elderly living home as Simpson's mother, who we call Mama Yaniv, who you can see trying to take off my other colleague, Sheila Gunn Reid's head here at the courthouse as well.
Rebel Media. Rebel Media.
Hey!
Okay, keep your hands off me.
Unfortunately for Mr. Funk, living there has meant he's had to cross paths with Simpson, as well as his unruly so-called service dog, Rexy, who wouldn't get off of the home's communal furniture. And when Mr. Funk, who's dependent on a walker, tried to move the dog along, Simpson shoved him. And another man intervened before Simpson pulled the fire alarm without a fire. So that incident is what led to Simpson's assault charge, the charge for pulling the fire alarm, and also the intent to mislead a peace officer because Simpson claimed that Mr. Funk assaulted him, which clearly you saw did not happen. Now, the Crown only accepted 2 of those charges, the assault charge and the fire alarm charge. Perhaps Simpson couldn't get away with that second one because firefighters have come out speaking against this individual. You can see here in a letter from Langley Township where the city is saying that Simpson has been lewd and inappropriate with their firefighters and contacting them for false reasons. And you could see Simpson accuses Langley Township and the firefighters for being discriminatory against him for his trans vagina because he was naked in the bathtub. So you can just imagine what those poor firefighters were going through. But back to the story. So is trying to get his conditions varied. Inside, he said, oh, my Mama Yaniv, he didn't say Mama Yaniv, but he said, my mom and my aunt, they're having post-surgery complications, and I'm the only one who can help them. So I have to have the 2 conditions against me dropped. Those conditions are 1, not being allowed within 10 meters of the building, although Simpson claims to live across the street from it, and 2, not being allowed to go anywhere near Mr. Funk, as well as the other man who intervened after that altercation, understandably. Anyways, this time the Crown was not fooling around. The Crown said, post-surgery. She didn't use these quotation marks, but her tone was as if she doesn't really believe it. Perhaps she got a whiff of Mama Yaniv bending down so swiftly to tell us to kiss her rear or something like that and wasn't buying it. But she said, post-surgery help or not, it's not worth the risk of allowing Simpson to help his family versus the risk to the tenants. The Crown also said that the poor tenants that have to live with Simpson's mama, who is a whole other issue, are actually terrified of the moment that the conditions do drop. They're terrified for their safety, and they're actually banding together with the strata. They've created a fund to try to force Mama Yaniv to sell her unit. That is just a building of elderly people terrified of this individual is just one of the many reasons we continue to expose this issue. And thankfully, because of our win in Supreme Court, which you can help donate to the cost to cover the $5,000 legal retainer we had at YanivTrial.com. Thankfully to that, I believe we're setting precedent so that others can't do the same. Now, Simpson wasn't prepared, and Justice Solomon, who presided over the matter, wasn't entertaining any of his excuses for why he wasn't, so he dismissed the matter. However, Simpson is allowed to bring forward the issue again if he can become more prepared. But as you can see, there's no way this individual should have less conditions than he already has. Now, let's hear from Carrie Simpson about her take and the significance of a new Crown being on the matter.
Nigger, 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 fuck you. I have the picture of your kid on here, by the way. You want to see?
All right. Oh, my goodness. We're just connecting after that outburst. that you just saw, but
One of many that happened within a matter of minutes, yes.
yeah, let's talk about that. Before that happened, what happened as soon as you went in there and Simpson saw you?
So when you walk first through security and then into the Surrey courthouse, there's the notice boards where you can find out where the courtroom is that of the matter you're attending. And Yanef had, or Jessica Simpson, depending on what we're calling that individual today, or how he's referring to himself, was sitting there with his dog and his mother talking already to the sheriffs, complaining about my attendance at the court. Actually, it was the police in this matter. The minute upon entry, he just went ballistic, swearing, profanities, get F out of here. And I've never had this experience before, but there were a number of people gathered to see where their matters were being heard. And they all rallied in support and said, "We agree with you." I'm not sure what they agreed to, but that this individual is unhinged and was disruptive in the court. So in this case, the RCMP officer was very professional, or Surrey Police, I guess now, and just said, I'm going to make sure that you get to the courtroom safely, and made Simpson and his mother stay behind while we proceeded down to the courtroom. So that was one incident.
I just want to interject there because how the tables have turned over the years. We've covered many times on how Simpson has convinced the sheriffs to cater to Simpson, in a way that infringes upon press. They've tried to confiscate phones and things like that from Keean Bexton, go through the phone. They've blocked you out of the courthouse.
Prohibited me from entry.
Yeah. So times have changed when they're assisting you. Now, one of the things that stood out to me was that Simpson said that Simpson's having troubles getting a hold of the previous crown that was on this matter. I've seen some of the work that you've been doing, messaging the crown about all of the mishaps, all of the missed opportunity to bring justice forward here. What do you make of a new crown showing up today and Simpson no longer being able to get a hold of the previous crown?
Well, that information was very interesting to me. So I think, you talked about the tables being turned. I can tell all your viewers and all British Columbians that have been concerned about the waste of public resources involving this individual that we have now started a campaign to bring those agencies, whether it's the Crown, the judiciary, law enforcement agencies, into account for catering and empowering this individual. When you look back historically on this case, and I've been engaged in this, do I dare even think about it, since 2020, initially you go, okay, well, they're being played, they'll eventually clue in. The only reason why they ever clued in was because of the work you did and I did in exposing what this individual was up to. So now, having watched, again, just being catered to, slaps on the wrist, anybody else assaults somebody like they did Keenan, they're going to jail. Anybody that utters the amount of threats is going to jail. And yet, Jessica Simpson escapes all of this. Well, no more. So I have now made a campaign of making sure that there is a written record of every individual that fails to uphold the rule of law and protect the public interest and the public in this matter. This individual is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. And that's why it's so important for you guys who are invested in this story. Carrie gave some credit to me in the work I'm doing, but Rebel News is nothing without our supporters who get behind us and keep me safe today with having 2 bodyguards. Do you think we're actually going to see justice prevail? I feel like it's getting close. I really do. I see that the walls are closing in, but we're not quite there yet.
I actually do. Whether I have to force the issue by bringing on a private prosecution or, this interagency committee that I am now building of representatives from all the groups, agencies, government agencies, that's the Crown, the AG's office, law enforcement, the courts. If that's what I have to do, then fine. Enough is enough. This individual has been allowed to stalk and hunt and torment using the judiciary as a weapon. This individual has been allowed to threaten you while a sheriff just stood by and did nothing. I mean, what is going on here? So, sort of in the past, I know that there was a lack of communication between those agencies. No more. Carrie has connected them all and will continue to do so and make sure that there is a written record so that when somebody actually wants to sue the Crown or the police, that there is a record of the times that they ought to have acted and didn't. And I'm seeing that change now. So I can tell your viewers that we are working very closely with the Langley RCMP right now, compiling a huge file. I do know that the Crown in the past was given a huge file, mostly manufactured by me when we got Donald Smith out of jail. They refused to charge Jessica Simpson, then known as Jessica Yaniv, back then. Had they done that back then, I don't think we'd be standing here today.
Absolutely. There you have it. Carrie Simpson with Culture Guard, Drea Humphrey for Rebel News. Unlike the state choice media, which gets millions of your tax dollars, whether you like them or not, Rebel News is completely dependent on people like you to keep us going and to keep us safe. Again, I have more coming up about what that looks like because of this individual, but we need your help today at protectdrea.com.